everyone, my name is Evie Lupine. Welcome back to my channel, and today I have another video for you all. Today I am going to be talking about finding and making community as a submissive person in BDSM. And this subject has really been on my heart recently for a couple of reasons. One, I'm currently helping some friends in my local community with setting up their own little contingent group, and I also had the wonderful opportunity to visit with two of my best friends, Brittany and Kayla, and it really just got me thinking about friendship and finding people and making community in BDSM and what does that mean, and having people around who can help you find your place. And I feel incredibly lucky to know the people that I know in the community, to have the connections that I do, because for me, BDSM has not just been about finding myself or finding parts of me that were missing or that I needed explanation for. It has also been about finding friendship and finding connection and finding people that I could be my real, total, honest self with. People who could hold me accountable, people who can help me when I have questions, and people who can empathize with my situation. And I think it's so important for submissives to have something like this. I have recently posted, at least of recording this video, a series of videos covering protectors and mentorship in BDSM. Those are very long videos. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I think altogether those are both like 40 minutes worth of content. So if you want to watch those, do check them out. And I've really been thinking about why people need mentors and protectors, why people seek those things out, and if there are any other viable substitutes that are safer or easier to obtain or are less strenuous in terms of the vetting process, things like that. And I think it really just boils down to being able to find people in the community who are like you. And it is such an amazing feeling when you get to be part of the BDSM community. I cannot emphasize enough, at least for my own personal experience. It is going to be different for everyone. But as soon as I became part of the BDSM community, I found people and I talked to people of all ages and identities and proclivities who got to know me on a level that I had never had with anybody in the vanilla world. And if you're new, or if you're struggling, or you're thinking about entering the community, that is possibly one of the best reasons I could give for really just pushing yourself, taking that little extra step and going to a munch or going to a social at a dungeon at some point, or even just making a FetLife account, because that is an experience that I can't imagine. I can imagine a situation where maybe I'm not in a BDSM relationship, or maybe I'm not actively providing service, or maybe I'm not currently doing scenes, but I can't imagine leaving the people and the connections that I have made here, because they have made me stronger, they have made me a better person, and they have just done wonders for me as a person. Because at least for me, before I was part of the BDSM community, I didn't really have a lot of friends, I didn't really have a lot of connections, I wasn't necessarily purposely socially withdrawn. I've always been very introverted, and for me, being able to interact with people on a really deep emotional level is something that's key to my friendships and to getting to know people. And because of things that I'm into and because of my identities, I couldn't really do that with the average everyday person. I couldn't really be vulnerable in that way with people from classes in college or from friends in high school. Very, very few people I thought would get me that way. And as soon as I went into a dungeon, I was able to find people that I connected with. As a BDSM community on a whole, I think a lot of us do identify really strongly with being members of the BDSM community, with being part of the lifestyle, with being part of our local groups, TNG, whatever it happens to be. But there doesn't necessarily tend to be as much cohesion with submissives helping other submissives, with submissives bonding with each other. I know there are some areas that have submissive only munches or littles only munches or pet play focused munches, and those are great, and definitely take advantage of those opportunities. What I want to do is encourage people as submissives to come together in a sisterhood or a brotherhood, and I don't say those terms in order to be gender exclusionary or specific. just like a coalition, a group, a gathering of submissives, whatever you want to call it, where we are able to support each other in a way that only other submissives can really do for each other. A place where we can go and you can interact with people who understand your struggles, who have been where you have been, who know the resources that you can go to, that know the places you can go to get the skills that you want, to meet the people you're interested in interacting with. And I just don't think we quite have that everywhere yet. And God, I wish there was something like that, because I think it would make so many people's journeys into this weird, kinky world so much easier. And I think part of getting there is to break down some of the things that I think hold submissives back from being able to make connections like this. And I'm going to focus here primarily on female identified submissives. This is not to say this is exclusive to a particular gender or not. It could totally not be, but I can only speak from my personal experience, and from what I can tell, it is significantly a more pronounced problem with female identified submissives than it is with other identities or groups. And if you have experience otherwise, please let me know down in the comments below, because I like to expand my field of knowledge and my understanding of the BDSM community, because hey, I'm an educator and that's kind of my job. But anyways, what I have noticed is, rather than coming together in a collection as like submissives and feeling powered in our submission together, a lot of times what ends up happening is submissives treat each other as rivals. And that's really not a good thing to do. And the reason why I think this applies more to female submissives or female identified submissives more so than with male identified submissives is that as females of some type, we experience a lot of socialization that leads us to treat other women, other females, as rivals, as competitors for affection, for basically as competitors for affection and love, as rivals that we need to outdo, as people we need to be better than, rather than supporting each other, rather than trying to help each other and better each other. A lot of times we are taught that other women are people that we should be putting down, people that we should be comparing ourselves to, and that's not healthy, and especially not in BDSM, because all of us are going into this with such different ideas about what we want, such different ideas about who we are and what motivates us, and it really doesn't serve any good purpose to compare your submission to somebody else's, to compare the way you play to somebody else's form of play. It really just serves to divide us and keep us from being able to support each other, because if you're too busy looking at how another person plays and going, oh God, I could never do a tie like that. I wish I could be suspended that way. I wish my body would allow me to do XYZ thing. I wish that I could take that kind of pain. I wish I could be that focused. I wish I could be that dedicated. I wish I wasn't as bratty as I am. I wish I could be more servile, blah, blah, blah. Any sort of comparison that you might be making towards another submissive, if we could just replace those thoughts with, rather than thinking, I'm better than her in this way, she's better than me in this way, I'm better than them in this way, they're better than me in this way, we need to get out of the practice of doing that. It is a really, really hard thing to do. It is absolutely a process, and it's something that you need to be consciously aware of. It's not just an overnight thing. But even just being able to do that, even just being able to be conscious and pause and recognize when you are doing that kind of behavior where you are saying to yourself those thoughts and being able to stop it is a great first step. And when you do that, then you can start to replace those thoughts consciously at first, but with practice unconsciously over time, is to not compare, but to admire, to help the other person rise up, to acknowledge, to respect the other person for what they're doing. Not because it's better, not because it's worse, but because it is their submission and you are submissive too, and being able to connect in that way is what is so vital about being able to form community as a submissive person, about being able to acknowledge that the other person is different, but that is not necessarily bad. It doesn't make them better or worse. Again, I'm going to keep emphasizing that. So I think that is number one thing, is like stopping the comparison trap. And what's worse is that this is encouraged by the community. I have friends and I have people in the community who, for better or worse, kind of encourage submissive competition, like legitimately actually wanting to do competitions with submissives where we see who's the most submissive person or who's able to perform the most submissive task, which I don't really actually think serves any purpose other than like turning friendships into rivalries, even if temporarily. Some people like me are much more sensitive to that than others, and if you can separate that and not have it bleed over into like your general perspective on people in your community, that's fine. But I think we need to be aware of that. I think we have a lot of language that we use in the BDSM community that is like, my submissive is better than your submissive, and it's all about like ranking how other people are able to submit and the kind of play that they do, and it's just it just freaking breaks my heart that people do that, because imagine like it's so intimidating, like being a new person in the community, and like the first thing that you see is like all these people doing all these really amazing kinds of play and like doing all these crazy things that you wish you could do, and rather than people wanting to help you on that journey, it's all about you being the competition and you being the new meat and you being a competitor for the potential dominance that you could have, or a competitor for a partner's affection. Like, all that is so freaking toxic, and it's so hard to watch, and it's especially really bad online. I think online is even worse, because with anonymity and with the just pervasiveness of the internet, people tend to be a lot more forthcoming with the darker parts of their thoughts and what they think about other people, and be a lot more open to expressing negative sentiment and about putting other people down, really. And I think real life is a little bit less toxic, but it's still not good behavior. It may be very difficult to change the real life community on a really, really large scale, but you can start by making connections with people in your local community. You can start by going to munches and finding other people that identify in the way that you do, be they new, be they experienced, be they coming back for the first time in 5 years, whatever it happens to be, but getting to know them and finding ways to encourage them, finding ways to learn from them, finding ways to support each other, to help each other with vetting and for being a spotter for scenes, or for being a safe call when somebody's playing alone with somebody for the first time. Just being able to make those connections rather than shutting other people down or only using them for the purpose of utility within the community or something like that. I don't really know if this video made sense, but it's something that's been on my mind a lot lately. Hopefully you got something out of this. Hopefully something in this resonated with you. And again, I just want to emphasize how invaluable it is to be able to have submissive friends that you can go to who can help you when you need it, and you can help them when you need it, and just being able to be super, super strong and connected with them. And I think on YouTube, with the people that I know here who are making videos about BDSM, at least on the S side of the slash, there is a pretty good group of us now with varying levels of closeness who I think really for the first time are sort of demonstrating that level of compersion, who are really like, yeah, that's awesome that you just got 30,000 subscribers. Yeah, that's awesome you did this like crazy amazing thing, or you did this photo shoot, or you did whatever it was, and really just like encouraging each other to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be, to be the best educators we can be. And I really hope that I can see that kind of behavior trickle down into how other submissives interact with each other, and how you are maybe able to form your own connections. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, please let me know. Comment section is down there. I read pretty much every comment that I get, and I try to respond to most of them if I can. I have a ton of videos if you're interested in learning how to join the community, where you can learn about BDSM munches and dungeons, what to expect, etiquette, how to interact with people. All those videos, things like that, will be linked down below, and you can search for them on my channel if you have something specific that you are looking for. If you haven't already and you like my videos, please do subscribe. I make videos twice a week. And finally, if you really enjoy my channel and you want to help support the work that I do, the best place place to do that is on Patreon. That is what makes this channel possible. That is what helps me make these videos. And most importantly, with your support, I am able to do more things, better things, provide exclusive content, exclusive videos, one-on-one chats, all of that great stuff. So if any of that sounds good to you, please check out my Patreon. Link to that will be down below. And until I see you guys next time, I hope you have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week. Bye.